Good evening. My name's not Gary Lineker, and this is not Match of the Day. Yeah, enough of that. Welcome back to Not Match of the Day right here on West Ham Official, where in the absence of a show that most people watch when your team has won on a Saturday night, I'm going to bring that to you right here on West Ham Official. My pundits are joining me. Oh no, we couldn't afford any pundits, so you just stuck with me to round up the 6 Premier League games that took place today. We're going to round them up with some commentary. Oh no, we couldn't afford any commentators, and some match footage. Well, we get copyright for that as well. So you are just stuck with me. Guy Mowbray's eating his tea, and we can't get the copyright. So we're here, and this is not Match of the Day. We're going to start off down at the South Coast then, where Bournemouth managed somehow to beat a Liverpool side that were just coming off the back of a 7-0 victory versus Manchester United. Football is a funny old game, isn't it? On the 28th minute, Philip Billing gave Bournemouth the lead, and that was enough to give them all 3 points. Salah missed an absolutely awful penalty, of course, from 12 yards. I think it nearly hit St Mary's, to be honest with you. It was that far away. And that was enough for Bournemouth to pick up all 3 points. It's a massive 3 points for Bournemouth, as it does now rise them up 1 point above the relegation zone, currently in 17th place. It's a massive result for them. And for teams around them, like West Ham, it was not good at all. Liverpool, there's questions to be asked there as they go into a Champions League game midweek where they're already 3 goals down to Real Madrid, which is, the likelihood of them going out is very, very high. And it puts Klopp's job on the line as they lose, as this inconsistent Liverpool side continue on. And it gives Bournemouth just that bit of hope. Can they stay up? Put that in the comment section down below. We haven't got any post-match interviews earlier, so there's no post-match interview, so you just stuck with me. Next up, we go up to Ellen Road then. Where it finished Leeds 2, Brighton 2, in a game where, of course, Brighton coming off the back of a 4-0 thumping at the hands for West Ham last weekend. It was an interesting game where Brighton might feel a little bit disappointed. They did take the lead on the 33rd minute through Alexis McAllister. Just 7 minutes later, Leeds came out with a reply. Patrick Bamford getting one, and then an own goal from Jack Harrison regained Brighton their lead just after the hour mark, and then just before 10 minutes left, Jack Harrison scored in the right net to get Leeds a point. That's a point for Leeds that is absolutely massive, which they may or may not have been expecting, against the Brighton side that are playing some very good football. I think Brighton, they'll respect the point, but they will feel as well that that's probably 2 points dropped at the hands of a relegation side, or a sort of relegation side that are in that sort of battle. So yeah, I think Leeds will be the more happier of the sides, as Roberto De Zerbi probably feels that they could have done better up in Yorkshire then. So Leeds 2, Brighton 2 is our second results. We head back down south to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium as Spurs regain some composure as they put 3 past Forest, with 1 in reply from Joe Worrell, I think it was, but which still gains Tottenham the 3 points then. So it was kicked off by Harry Kane with a first half brace in the 19th and the 35th minute with a penalty to give them a 2-goal lead. And then just after the hour mark, Son made it 3-0. Joe Worrell with a consolation with 9 minutes left to make it 3-1 and to give them just that little bit more pleasant looking as they look at that result. But a disappointing day for Nottingham Forest. They've gone to big sides before. Man City came to a City ground and they got a point off of them. So they'll feel maybe a little bit disappointed. They wouldn't have expected too much, but they may have thought that there was something there for the taking with Tottenham, with a horrific last week or so, being knocked out of the FA Cup, knocked out of the Champions League, and losing away from home at Wolves. Nottingham Forest may feel there was an opportunity lost there. Harry Kane goes over the 20 goals for the season mark as he storms on. Obviously never going to catch that geezer from Manchester City, but still he'll be delighted with those 2 goals, and Son Heung-min getting on the score sheet is a boost for them as well, as that keeps Spurs in that 4th spot. There's a huge 6-point gap between them and Liverpool, so they'll feel content with their current Premier League position, but many fans feel that it's time for Conte to go after the last week. If you're a Spurs fan, put that in the comment section down below. What do you think of the situation at your club. Let's move on to another relegation battler then in Leicester, who did fall short as they lost 3-1 at home to Chelsea. A Chelsea side that have proven inconsistency and defined inconsistency so far this season, but seems like they've got a bit of form going now, getting through to the next round of the Champions League midweek when they came from behind on aggregate to beat Borussia Dortmund. That would have given them some confidence and a Premier League win on the road, which seems to be a rarity for Chelsea this season. Then Chelsea did take the lead through their fullback Ben Chilwell inside 12 minutes. The reply was pretty sharp just before half-time. Patson Daka got on the score sheet for Leicester to level things up, and they thought that was going to be it for the first half. But Kai Havertz in the 45th plus 6 minutes, that's the 51st minute of the first half, managed to get it into the back of the net and take Chelsea into a 2-1 lead into the half-time break. Coming out for the second half, Mateo Kovacic sealed the deal to make it 3-1 on the 78th minute, and there was a sending off for Leicester through phase as well later on in the 87th minute to really dampen the mood up at the King Power as the loss was confirmed for the Foxes. The Foxes have dropped like an absolute stone as well, as they currently sit 16th now with Nottingham Forest and Everton, both sides that have been lingering around that relegation zone. They are now above a Leicester City side that are now just 1 point above that relegation zone on the same amount of points as AFC Bournemouth after their dramatic win today, of course, at home to Liverpool. Chelsea will be delighted with their week 2 wins through to the next round of the Champions League, and of course winning away from home in the Premier League, which is good for them as they look to charge on and try and get back into a Europe spot. And the emphasis is on the try there. As we move on to our penultimate game of our Not Match of the Day show, before we carry on, I'd like you to drop a like on the video and subscribe to West Ham Official. You wouldn't get this on the BBC. As I said, like and subscribe. Check out our channel sponsors using the links in the description down below. That's called the Advert Break on BBC, where they go and talk to, is it Alan Shearer and Ian Wright? They talk waffle. Listen to me. Next up, we will go up to Merseyside then, where Everton surprisingly ended Brentford's very long unbeaten run in the Premier League as they fell 1-0. 1-0 at the hands of Everton then. So if we look at this result, Dwight McNeil opened the scoring inside 1 minute at Goodison Park. A welcome shock, I think it'll be for Everton fans and, well, for those Brentford fans that made the trip up. They would have been best getting in the car home then and getting a head start on the rest of the fans. But yeah, Brentford, they've had a brilliant season, currently sat 9th in the Premier League. They can't have too many complaints, but did fall short today, not up to their usual pretty high standard, and that has resulted in them losing their unbeaten run, and Everton gaining a massive 3 points, which now catapults them up to 15th in the table on 25 points. Sean Dyche will be delighted with that, as it gives them a glimmer of hope of staying in the Premier League. Brentford will be disappointed and Everton will be ecstatic with that result up at Goodison Park. And moving on to our tea time kickoff then, that was played at Selhurst Park, of course, 5:30, where Manchester City looked to put the pressure back onto Arsenal. Of course, they play tomorrow. They play Fulham away from home, I believe. Man City did just that, and they did narrow the gap at the top down to 2 points once again. Of course, with City played a game more, however, but they put the pressure on. They've done what they could through an Erling Haaland penalty in the second half, more precisely coming in the 78th minute, as it did look like it was going to end a goalless draw. It meant a lot, and you could see that from the City players' reactions. It was a massive moment in that sort of title race to keep the pressure on to Arsenal there. A hard-fought win. Palace didn't make it easy for them. They're a really funny side, Palace, but they did manage to prolong the draw out until nearly the very end, 78th minute. It was a penalty, a late challenge on Gundogan, I think it was, and Erling Haaland converted from 12 yards, cool, calmly, and collectively slotted it in to that bottom left-hand corner. So there we go then. That is Not Match of the Day done for this weekend. To round up on the 6 Premier League results we've seen today, Bournemouth have beaten Liverpool at home, of course, after going narrowly as losers last week. up at the Emirates. Leeds have held Brighton to a 2-2 draw. Spurs have got back to winning ways at home to Nottingham Forest. Chelsea end off a superb week as they beat Leicester away from home 3-1. Everton shocked Brentford in a 1-0 win with a goal inside the first 60 seconds. And Man City, in the end, managed to pick up all 3 points at Selhurst Park to keep the pressure on title leading Arsenal. So that's the Saturday done. Tomorrow we see the champions elect in action as they take on Fulham. West Ham United will of course take on Aston Villa at home, and plenty more games going on of course in the Premier League as well. You see, I've done this in half the time. The match of the day will be tonight, and I think I've summed it up better than any highlights with no commentary. Thank you very much. This has been a fun little show. Not match of the day. Now I'm going to go yeah, enjoy the rest of your evening. From me, thank you very much. And Bournemouth, they beat Liverpool. Wow. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye. God, that's hard work, that. When's Lineker coming back? Flipping out.